How's it going, everyone? How are you doing? I first want to apologize for not getting out a prediction video for the Chelsea versus Krasnodar game. I did not realize that Chelsea had a game today, so I completely forgot to put out a prediction video. My bad, I apologize. But Chelsea had a big 4-0 win today over Krasnodar. Not the most fully deserved win, but a solid one nonetheless to lead us, into these next 4 games in the Champions League. And to get right into it, to get right into the lineups for Chelsea, we played a 4-2-3-1. Of course, Edouard Mendy in goal. Antonio Rudiger making his, I believe, debut for the season, if I'm not wrong, he's paired alongside Zuma in the center back role, Chilwell on the left, Azpilicueta on the right. In the holding midfield positions, we have Jorginho and Kovacic, which I found a little interesting that Kovacic was starting. In our attacking mids, on the left, Callum Hudson-Odoi, down the center, Kai Havertz, and on the right, Hakim Ziyech, and up top, of course, Timo Werner. Now for these subs, again, UCL, so long bench. Caballero, Giroud, Emerson, Conte, Christensen, James, Pulisic, Mount, Abraham, Tomori, and Carlos Zeiger, who I was a bit surprised by. He's about 19 years old for Chelsea. He's a young keeper for us, and I was a bit surprised to see him on the bench, but honestly, with Kepa injured, we kind of needed him, obviously. And then, of course, we still have Czech, but it's good to see another youngster on the bench. Now, for Krasnodar, they also played a 4-2-3-1. In goal, they had Safanov. For the center backs, they had Kayo and Martinovic. On the left, Sharanov. On the right, Smolnikov. The two holding midfielders are Vilhena and Gazinski. On the left attacking mid, Ramirez. Center attacking mid, Olkin. Right attacking mid, Olsen. And up top, Berg for them. Now for their bench, they had Sinitsyn, Gorodov, Suleimanov, Sabua, Kulivoy, Spetsian, and Litinov. I apologize. It's Kutavoy. My bad. I apologize. I'm blind. I can't see the subs very well. But nonetheless, to get right into the first half, honestly, Krasnodar really gave us a challenge. More so in the second, but in the first half, they definitely opened up with a big challenge against Chelsea. They proved in the first half, they kind of told us, they warned us in the first half that they weren't just going to sit back and let us do whatever we wanted. However, I will say Chelsea got the slight edge, very slight edge in that first half. But in the first 5 minutes, honestly, I was very confused as to why we were just giving the ball away so much in our defensive third, because my goodness, we were giving the ball away a lot in our defensive third in the first 5 minutes or so. And I was very afraid that Chelsea were going to score. Well, not Chelsea, Krasnodar, we're going to score in that first 5 minutes and get an early goal, get all the momentum, and boom, we're on the back foot right away. But fortunately, we calmed down and just kept playing our game and eventually grew into the game. And honestly, we suffered the same sort of issue that we've been having on offense, where we just are too slow. We're just a bit too slow, where by the time we switch the ball or bring the ball forward, the opposing team's defense has already adjusted to what we're trying to attack, how we're trying to attack. And honestly, we need to get that sorted quickly. I think we need to start the game just out of the breaks and just go, because our slow passing is not helping us at all to establish some kind of early dominance, to get an early foothold in the game, which we've been struggling a bit with. We haven't really been getting an early foothold in the game and keeping that throughout the first half. Now, they were easily adjusting to our slower attacks. Krasnodar were doing what they had to do defensively. They were holding us at bay, and they have their defense to thank that we were only up by as much as we were by the end of the first half, because honestly the defense held solid. However, in the 14th minute, we did have a penalty. It was a Ziyech pass out from kind of center field out to Azpilicueta on the right. Azpilicueta gives a low-driven cross to Timo Werner. He gets tripped up in the box. Penalty. But of course, our best penalty taker, Jorginho, hits the post. It hits Safanov, the keeper for Krasnodar, and they're able to escape with no goals, no early goals, and fortunate to not, get scored on right there. Chelsea unlucky. I can't believe Jorginho actually hit the post. It didn't get saved. He actually missed. So that was a nice surprise. Of course, Krasnodar did look dangerous, going forward, and honestly, they were looking to cause mistakes. The way they were charging Chelsea, they were looking to create fouls, create those mistakes where they can take advantage. But Chelsea were holding strong, much like Krasnodar were, and we just kept our shape relatively well in the first half. We were a bit more exposed going to the second, but in the first half we did do well enough to keep our shape and to prevent Krasnodar from really creating any kind of noise in the first half. They really didn't do too much, and we were able to keep the score 0-0 up until the 37th minute when Krasnodar receives a pass from Kai Havertz in the box, takes a shot. It's not a very good shot, to be perfectly honest, but Safonov, the Krasnodar keeper, spills it, falls into the net, and we're fortunate to come away with a 1-0 lead going into the second half, because from the 37th minute on, honestly, nothing much happened. Chelsea just kind of saw the first half, and we were cool. We went into the second half with a good, maybe not fully deserved 1-0 lead, but a 1-0 lead nonetheless. Now, up to that point, honestly, Callum Hudson-Odoi really hadn't done much that game, albeit he hadn't really touched the ball. He hadn't really gotten the ball much during the game in the first half, but he really hadn't done much. He was kind of doing his usual old self type thing where he was just holding onto the ball for a little too long for my tastes, and he really didn't make an impact on the game until that lucky shot, to be perfectly honest. Safonov should have saved it, but it spills into the net. And that led to, I mean, honestly, it was a fairly entertaining first half. Not the most deserved lead, but a fairly entertaining first half. I was getting flashbacks of when Chelsea played Barnsley in the Carabao Cup when we won 6-0. And that's kind of how I felt about this game, where Barnsley in that game actually did really well against Chelsea, yet they got beat 6-0. So it was an unlucky scoreline. It flattered Chelsea, and that's kind of how this game played out. Now, going into the second half, for the first 30 minutes, I kid you not, for the first 30 minutes, Krasnodar had us by the necks. They were controlling us. They were all over us. They were in our half for a good majority of that time. I swear it felt like Chelsea weren't even touching the ball in that first 30 minutes in the second half. We just weren't touching the ball. Up until the 75th minute, we were not touching the ball. Krasnodar were controlling us. They had us, again, by our necks. It's just we did well to keep our shape. We did well to get out of those sticky situations where they came close to scoring. And I mean, we had one chance in the 49th minute. It was a Kovacic shot from just outside the box, but it went wide left. And in the 30 minutes, that was like our only chance, to be honest. I believe, though, Krasnodar really only had one dangerous chance in the 55th minute when Gazinski for Krasnodar hit the crossbar. That was the only chance for me where I was like, oh crap, they're gonna score. I mean, they felt dangerous going forward, don't get me wrong, but they just didn't have that chance. It just wasn't quite there for them. It just wasn't quite there. It was just that last pass, that last touch, that last shot where Chelsea were doing well to get good clearances out. Mendy looked really confident in goal. I'd argue between him and Ziyech, they were my man of the matches. Men of the match, sure. Between Mendy and Ziyech, one of them was my man of the match. Mendy looked very confident in goal, and he proved that he's exactly what we needed. We needed solidity in our defense, and that's exactly what he's been bringing. This is his 4th clean sheet in a row. It was Crystal Palace, Man United, Sevilla, and now Krasnodar, his 4th clean sheet in a row. And so far, so good for his start to Chelsea career. And again, he brought that solidity that we needed for the defense. And then, I mean, like I mentioned, up until the 75th minute, Krasnodar had us by the scruff to our neck. They were controlling us. They were all over us. Their press was very good, but our defense held strong. And our defense probably won us this game. They're probably the reason why we were able to eventually grow back into the game. Now, from the 75th minute up until about the 79th, we slowly grew into the game. We slowly, took one hand off the wheel for Krasnodar in the car. We took one hand off the wheel, kind of started going back into the game, started getting a little control. We had some good passing going. We had a couple chances, couple attacks going forward. Not chances, but we had some good attacks going forward. And we were finally pushing Krasnodar back and trying to do something in this game. Now in the 79th minute, I would argue it is a bit of a harsh handball. I'm not going to disagree with that. It was a bit of a harsh handball. It hits, I believe, it was a Pulisic shot, and I'm not sure who it actually hit. I did not write it down. It hit a Krasnodar defender on the stomach. His arm's about here. I don't know if you guys can see. It's close to his side, hits his stomach, and hits his arm, and it stops the ball almost dead right in front of him. Now, my thing is it's a bit harsh because it hits his stomach first. Also, his arm, like I mentioned, was near his side. However, it does go and it hits his arm, and again, it pretty much stopped the ball right in front of him. So it did impede a goal scoring chance, and he also got a yellow card for it. So it's a harsh penalty, a harsh handball, but it's also something that more than likely is not going to get overturned by VAR. And also his arm, it did stop the ball dead in its tracks. So it's a tough handball to take for Krasnodar, but I do agree that it was a penalty, albeit how harsh it might have been. And factoring in that VAR was likely never going to overturn that. So again, a bit of a harsh penalty in the 79th minute, but nonetheless, oh no, I'm sorry, not 79th, 75th minute. And Timo Werner takes the penalty, an absolute rifle into the left side of the goal. We score a penalty, we go up 2-0. And with the way Krasnodar were playing, quite honestly, it wasn't the most deserved lead in the world, but again, 2-0 lead nonetheless. And then we just kept pressing. We kept pressing Krasnodar, and grew back into the game. We had both hands on the wheel. We were all over Krasnodar. They were in the back seat. We were in the driver's seat, controlling the game. And for the third goal, Ziyech did really well in the box. He receives a pass from, I believe, Timo Werner, and he does well inside the box to just get a couple tiny touches and takes a nice shot to the bottom right hand of the goal, gets it between two defenders, gets it out of range of Safonov, the Krasnodar keeper, puts it in the back of the net, makes it 3-0. And right after that, Ziyech comes off for Abraham. Earlier I didn't even mention that Pulisic came on for Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mount came on for Kovacic, and Conte came on for Jorginho. Now, the way the substitutions he made weren't necessarily like for like. Pulisic coming on for Callum Hudson-Odoi was like for like, going, left attack mid. Mount coming on for Kovacic was one I found interesting, and honestly that might be a role that could suit Mount, playing a holding midfielder sort of, or more of a center mid instead of a center attacking mid, because he does have a lot of energy. He has a lot of energy. He just is all over the pitch, so it might be a good place for him to sort of keep him more central, keep him in sort of central to park, so now he can kind of go up, down, all over, everywhere. Conte for Jorginho, of course, is a like-for-like substitution. Conte coming into a holding position. Tammy Abraham coming off for Ziyech after he scored. Ziyech had a very good game. Abraham would go on to get an assist on Pulisic's goal in the 90th minute. Abraham receives a pass, does well to hold off the defender, gets the cross in for Pulisic. Pulisic, I believe, takes a touch and then fires it in. It was a tight angle shot into the bottom right-hand corner. A very good finish from the tight angle, and Christian Pulisic makes it 4-0. And you just, by the look on Safonov's face after that fourth goal, it was just kind of said everything for Krasnodar. They're just disappointed. It was the result where honestly, it was a game where honestly they could have had more. They could have had more from the game. I didn't see them scoring 4, but I could have seen them scoring 2 in that nice stretch. And they honestly did deserve more from the game. And like I mentioned, this gives me flashbacks of Chelsea versus Barnsley, where we beat Barnsley 6-0 in the Carabao Cup, but it felt like Barnsley deserved more. They played really well that game, and yet they got blown back 6-0. So it felt like that, where Krasnodar really deserved more. The scoreline heavily flattered Chelsea. This wasn't our prettiest game. It really wasn't. There's still things we got to work on. Pretty much is the key here. But the fact that our defense held another clean sheet. It's our 3rd straight clean sheet. And it's our 4th and 5th in 5 games, if I recall correctly. Crystal Palace, then we drew with Southampton, and then Sevilla, Manchester United, and this one. So we did well. We've done well. We're doing better defensively. And that's already, that's good signs. Edouard Mendy, again, is looking like the solidity we need in our defense. Finally, we have some kind of solidity back there, and he's looking really confident. But overall, this was a game where we didn't fully deserve the result. I'll be perfectly honest, but I'll take it nonetheless. It's a huge result for the UCL, especially after that draw against Sevilla. Now, for my interesting facts, I'm actually going to do 4 because I forgot. Not only did I forget my prediction video for this game, I forgot to do interesting facts when I did my Manchester United review, so you guys got 4 coming your way. This is our first meeting against Krasnodar. We've won now. The next 3 facts are all linked up with each other. They all, kind of work together. We've won 6 with this win. We've won 6 of our last 7 games against Russian opposition. We haven't played a Russian side for 7 years now. 6 of the last 7 we've won. The one time we lost was 7 years ago. Well, Yeah, 7 years ago when we played against Rubin Kazan. Now, in that game, this was the last time we were in Russia. Lampard started for Chelsea. Frank Lampard, our current coach, was playing at the time, and that's how, 7 years ago, that's how long ago it was. Now, when we lost to Rubin Kazan in Russia, that was the year we lost in the quarterfinals, I believe. That was the year that we went on to win the Europa League, a year after winning the Champions League, and still the only team to do that. I don't know if that's entirely an accomplishment. That means we got knocked down from the Champions League, but you know, we'll take it. We won, you know, back-to-back European trophies. But yeah, those are my interesting facts. And again, overall, not the most convincing win from Chelsea. However, I'll take it. This is a big win for the Champions League, especially after that draw against Sevilla. We need to come away with 6 points against Krasnodar. We need to come away with at least 4 against Rennes, and we need to win this game against Sevilla the next time we play them to get comfortably through in first. I believe that first will heavily benefit us this year, because last year we had Bayern because we came in second and we got stomped. So we need first in this group. We need to get a relatively easier draw, not necessarily that it's going to be easy, an easier draw than going against, say, Juventus or, I don't know, Bayern again, which would suck, to be honest. But we need these 3 points were huge. The 4-0 win is huge for the goal differential, and overall a decent win, not the most convincing. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Go check out the socials in the description. My Twitter is @BlueHermit1. My Instagram is @BlueHermit_. Please share the socials with all your friends, family, everybody you know. Let the people know Blue Hermit's where it's at, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.